Hey guys, sorry I'm like really late. Trying to get the headlines all on Wixit. Took longer than normal. Normally it doesn't take me that long. It took me forever, guys. I mean forever. Trying to make sure I'm live on Josh Who. It's not going green. I don't like that. I got lots to cover. I mean a lot to cover. I even got a message from one of my subscribers to deliver a somewhat of I guess a heads up. Yeah, I'm aware I'm alive, sweet Jenna. I'm talking to you guys. I was trying to get my Joshu TV to go green. I'm recording. Sometimes it's green, sometimes it's not, and it's not green right now, but we're gonna go ahead and go. I do have it, but yeah, I was just having a little issue with Joshu TV. How is everyone? Hey, Ernest and Cody. But I'm going to give you guys the little heads up first that that I received from Tim Boggs. He left this comment. He left this comment on one of my videos earlier, on one of my other videos. Anyway, it says no vehicle with tinted windows. So to go into Virginia. So those that are planning to travel to Virginia for the rally and stuff, he's telling you guys, he's giving you a warning that if you have front tinted windows, that you might want to drive another vehicle. And then he says that Virginia was trying to ban honoring out-of-state carry permits. So you might want to check into those two things.
That's crazy.
It is going to be very dragged out. I know. And I took a nap, and when I woke up in time. I won't. Well, I would have been about 30 minutes behind normal, but as much as I would love just to cover what's going on in the Middle East, there is other stuff going on. And so I don't want to be one of those people that don't bring you guys as much as I can. So it just took me a little bit longer to get everything transferred over to the Wixit site this morning, more so than normal. Now let me try to check over here again. Still not green. And I don't know, I will never, well, it would help if I hit start streaming. Man, you guys, I'm about an airhead. Well, no wonder I wasn't green on Joshua TV. I never hit start streaming. That could be the reason. Well, don't I feel about stupid? It's green there. Still not green here, but oh well. We are going to continue. You can only stay for a few minutes. You'll have to catch up later. Okay, Calamity. I have a lot to cover too, girl. I'm going to try to just get into it, guys, because there is so much. And it's like, I even tried taking out some, but it is crazy.
William said that there's about that general that we killed. His funeral today, his daughter said that they're gonna kill all the servicemen's children and they're gonna have nothing to come home to.
Yeah, I gave that warning this morning, telling.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just saying, that's crazy.
Yeah. Okay, guys. All right, so.
Now I say bomb the heck out of it.
My husband just come, and I don't know if you guys heard him or not. Kind of funny, but not funny. My son, who he doesn't follow global news at all, but he just came upstairs and told his dad, he said, look, he said, it's reported that that general of the guy that we just killed over in Iran, that the general's daughter said that she was going to kill all the servicemen's children, all our U.S. troops' children. And I said, we already reported on that general warning this morning. And he said, and then my husband says, he said, they just need to go ahead and bomb them, get them over with.
Over there quicker.
Yeah, that's what he said anyway.
They gonna send threats like that and just bomb the hell out of them.
Oh, you're so good, Ernest. No worries, guys, no worries. Anyway, but if you guys if anyone missed the show this morning, the stream this morning, there's lots of articles. If you don't watch this morning's stream to get caught up on current things, just go and check out the headlines that I shared on Wixit, and it will get you current. But yeah, the general's daughter put out a warning that that the American troops would.
Be dark days in America.
Yeah, so crazy stuff that she was going to make sure that U.S. troops paid for their act and all of this. Anyway, oh mercy, where do I want to start? Okay, we're going to start first with a little global news because we have so much to cover going on in the Middle East, guys. It's insane. I'm going to start with Netanyahu from Harwitz. Netanyahu accidentally calls Israel a nuclear power, guys. He's speaking out trilaterally summit where Israel, Greece, and Cyprus inked a deal for natural gas pipeline to Europe. Netanyahu quickly corrects himself, saying Israel is turning into an energy power. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu accidentally referred to Israel as a nuclear power during a cabinet meeting Sunday, immediately correcting himself to energy power. Speaking about trilateral summit in Athens over the weekend, where Israel signed a deal with Greece and Cyprus for the construction of the East Med natural gas pipeline to Europe. The significance of this project is that we are turning Israel into a nuclear power, energy power, Netanyahu said with a slip of the tongue. During the meeting, Netanyahu also discussed the targeted assassination of Iranian General Soleimani on Friday, saying that U.S. President Donald Trump was worthy of all the appreciation for ordering the killing. Soleimani initiated, planned, and carried out many terror attacks in the Middle East and beyond, Netanyahu added. Netanyahu said Israel stands behind the United States in its just fight for self-defense. So Netanyahu there had a slight slip of the tongue. Was it a slip of the tongue as in, it was just an accident that slipped out, or was it a telling slip of the tongue? I don't know. Anyway, a slip of the tongue as in mixing his words in the wrong mixing, but I don't know. Then this here from the AP, it says the latest Russia-China says the UN must address the Iran crisis. Tehran, Iran. The latest on the U.S.-Iran tensions in the wake of the U.S. airstrike that killed Iran's top general. At the United Nations, Russia and China says that they strongly oppose the New Year's Eve attack on the U.S. Embassy in Baghdad. But Moscow and Beijing say they have decided to block a UN Security Council statement condemning the attack because it doesn't address the subsequent U.S. killing of Iran's top general. The U.S. Embassy compound in Baghdad had been stormed by Iran-backed Shiite militias. Russia's UN ambassador Vasily Nebenzia said Monday that Moscow agreed with the proposed U.S. statement condemning that the embassy attack, but he says it would be impossible not to take into account the U.S. killing of Soleimani inside Iraq last Friday. Mideast tensions have since reached a boiling point. Nabanzi says the focus must now be to prevent developments going down the drain in the direction of a major conflict. The U.S. Embassy in Israel has issued a warning to Americans to stay on the alert in the event of mortar or rocket fire. The embassy website said it has posted the security alert Monday out of an abundance of caution. The warning addressed U.S. citizens in Israel, Jerusalem, the West Bank, and Gaza Strip. Tensions in the Middle East have been at a boiling point since the U.S. killed a top Iranian last week in Iraq. Israel, a key U.S. ally and a longtime foe to Iran, has kept a low profile since the killing. The U.S. said that it will bomb Iran if Tehran retaliates. A former Iranian Revolutionary Guard leader then suggested that the Israeli city of Haifa and others could be targeted should the U.S. attack Iran. The UN Security General Antonio Guterres is warning of the risk of any miscalculation and amid global tensions at the highest level this century. The UN chief says that these tensions are leading more and more countries to take unpredicted decisions and unpredictable consequences. And there is quite a bit more. What?
Okay. So this general, he was on the #1 wanted list for what, Interpol or the world?
Yeah.
Okay. And since America is the ones that actually, killed him, assassinated him, we're the bad guys. But any other country that would have done it would be classified as a hero.
Most likely.
You know, from all the other countries, they'd be praising them for doing it. But since we done it, we're the bad guy.
Right.
And all we done was took out the #1 wanted person in the world.
Well, I don't know. He was #1 wanted, but he was a bad guy. Daily Mail says that is Iran threatening another Lockerbie? President Rouhani makes sinister veiled reference to a 1988 Pan Am bombing that killed 270 people as incredible photos show Soleimani's funeral from space. Iranian President Hussein Rouhani was today accused of threatening America with another Lockerbie after he tweeted a veiled reference to the 1988 bombing that killed 270 people. Rouhani tweeted that Americans should never threaten Iran after warning the U.S. should remember the number of 290 in reference to an incident when the U.S. Navy accidentally shot down an Iranian passenger jet in the Persian Gulf in July of 1988, killing 290. Some Middle East experts have taken this as a veiled reference to the Lockerbie terrorist attack, which saw a bomb destroy Pan Am Flight 103 over Scotland in December of 1988, killing 270. Months after the downing of the Iranian Flight 655, Libya has also been blamed for the Lockerbie bombing, and one of their intelligence agents was jailed in Scotland for the terror attack. But Western spies believe Tehran played a role in the attack and executed it in a revenge for the downing of the Iranian passenger jet. Now, Rouhani's sinister return to the episode and threatening of consequences has fueled those suspicions. Rouhani was responding to a tweet from Donald Trump in which the president threatened to strike 52 sites in Iran if Tehran retaliated against Washington, following the assassination of Major General Soleimani in a drone strike near Baghdad airport on Friday. It comes as an incredible pictures from space showed crowds of up to million Iranians on the street of the capital, Tehran, for Soleimani's funeral today. And it looks like a bunch of ants, guys. But again, this article is in the global section of the Wixit, guys. Let's see if I... No. Of course not. He warned that U.S. should remember the 290 and with a hashtag of the Iran air flight, which was down 6 months before the 270 people were killed when a bomb was detonated on a Pan Am plane over Lockerbie, Scotland. Those who refer to a number 52 should also remember the number 299, hashtag IR655. Rouhani tweeted today, referring to the 1988 shooting down of an Iranian airline by a U.S. warship, in which 290 were killed. Never threaten the Iranian nation, Rouhani added in the same post. Iran Air Flight 655 jet was due to travel from the Tehran to Dubai in July 1988, but was shot down over Iranian territorial waters over the Persian Gulf, killing all on board. A guided cruise missile fried from the USS Vincennes shot down the jet, believing that the Airbus was a fighter jet. The U.S. government said at the time. Months later, in December the same year, the Pan Am 103 jet traveling from Frankfurt to Detroit was brought down over Lockerbie, killing all 243 passengers and 16 crew, as well as 11 people on the ground. Although Libya was officially blamed for the Lockerbie bombing, most intelligence experts believe the order came from Tehran. Writing on the Mail on Sunday, BBC World Affairs editor John Simpson said many in the U.S. and U.K. intelligence believe Iran was behind the bombing. He wrote, Colonel Gaddafi's Libya got the blame, but many people in America and British intelligence community believe that Iran gave the original instruction for the attack to avenge the shooting down of the Airbus. Fatima Al-Azhar and the Middle East analyst from Johns Hopkins School of Advanced International Studies linked Rouhani's tweet with the Lockerbie disaster. She tweeted, Rouhani is basically reminding at the real Donald Trump of the Iranian Air Flight 655 carrying the 290 passengers, which was down by a U.S. Navy ship, the Vincennes, in 1988. Through it deemed a human error, Tehran worked cooperatively to exact its revenge. How? Hashtag Lockerbie. And there's a little bit more to that, guys. But again, this article is in the Wixit site. But you can see that Rouhani is not wasting any time making threats in retrospect to the things that are going on. Let's see. And that is... And then Zero Hedge has an article that says Iran is to attack Trump properties. Top advisor tweets list of president's real estate empire. After Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, clarified on Friday that the death of America really means death to the President Trump. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo and other American rulers, a top advisor to the Iranian president, Hossein Rouhani, shared a list of Trump properties on Sunday, including his Mar-a-Lago estate and resort in Florida. According to the Daily Mail, advisors Hassamed Hashina tweeted a link to Forbes' article listing all of Trump's properties in the U.S. and Britain. Hashina, who heads the Center for Strategic Studies and an Iranian think tank, echoed Khamenei's talking points hours before dropping the Forbes link. The singling out of the both Trump and his properties come amid a series of threats exchanged between the two nations in the wake of the U.S. killing the top Iranian commander, Soleimani, on January 2nd. Tehran has sworn revenge for Soleimani's death and yesterday announced it was abandoning its remaining nuclear limits under the 2015 deal. Today, Iran's supreme leader, the Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, wept over Soleimani's coffin as hundreds of thousands joined a funeral march in Tehran. Speaking of the crowds, the military commander's daughter declared that the families of the U.S. soldiers in the Middle East will spend their days waiting for the death of their children. Trump has threatened his own retaliation if Iran hits targets, warning of disproportionate response, including cultural sites. Today, the president vowed in a capital letter tweet that Iran will never have a nuclear weapon, despite Tehran's latest move away from the nuclear deal, Daily Mail. The recent tensions were ignited on December 27th when Iranian-backed militia group Kataib Hezbollah bombed the K-1 airbase near Kuruk in northern Iraq at the direction of Soleimani. killing a U.S. contractor and wounding several others. 2 weeks before October meeting, Soleimani ordered Iranian Revolutionary Guard to move more sophisticated weapons, such as Katyusha's rockets and shoulder-fired missiles that could bring down helicopters, to Iraq through 2 border crossings. The militia commanders and Iraqi security sources told Reuters at the Baghdad villa. Soleimani told the assembled commanders to form a new militia group of low-profile paramilitaries unknown to the United States who could carry out rocket attacks on American housed at Iraqi military bases. He ordered Kataib Hezbollah, a force founded by Muhandis and trained in Iran, to direct the new plan, said the militia sources briefed on the meeting. And that's from Reuters, it says. In a response, the U.S. forces struck the Iranian target in Syria, killing 25 and wounding 50, resulting in the New Year's protest at the U.S. Embassy in Iraq, in which militia groups aligned with Soleimani caused significant damage to the compound. But again, you know, there's no evidence or nothing according to the stupid post we got this morning. Or no, it was a tweet by Schiff that I saw on Twitter, guys, where he's proclaiming or professing that there's no evidence to support that what Trump did was has any validation for any reason, that he acted because he was, just on a power trip, basically. And then Sputnik has this article also about the Chinese officials that rule out SARS and pneumonia outbreak, infecting at least 59 people. I'm not going to read this because I have so much news to cover, but that is good that they can rule out SARS. But this article is in the global section of my Wixit site, guys. And we are going to... Okay, so in case you guys have not heard, this is pretty big news, guys. Sputnik News says that amid simmering Iran tensions, the Pentagon is deploying B-52 squadron to Diego Garcia report. According to the reports, the U.S. Air Force is preparing to deploy a squadron of 6 B-52 Stratotrares strategic bombers to Diego Garcia, an island base in the Indian Ocean, within striking distance of Iran. A U.S. official told CNN Monday that the Pentagon would soon send 6 of the heavy bombers to the base on Diego Garcia, a British territory, for potential use against Iran if ordered to do so. The base is 2,300 miles south of Iran's southmost point, but well within striking distance of the bombers. Given mid-air refueling, it is a common stopping-off point for the U.S. bombers. U.S. President Donald Trump said on Sunday that the U.S. was prepared to strike 52 targets in Iran, including sites of cultural significance, if Iran retaliated for the U.S. assassination of Quad Force Commander Qasem Soleimani. The general was killed at the Baghdad airport on January 3rd in a U.S. drone strike, with U.S. leaders claiming the move was defensive and that Soleimani was plotting attacks against U.S. forces. The Iraqi government later revealed that Soleimani was in Baghdad to hear a proposal by regional rival and U.S. client Saudi Arabia to bury the prohibitable hatchet. The DoD doesn't reveal B-52 movements without messaging purposes. This comes after Trump had threatened to strike at Iran like never before, repeatedly, anything if possible under Trump. Then it says, see #5. Built by Boeing, the 8-engine B-52 is the U.S. military's largest bomber, capable of carrying a wide variety of weapons, including cruise missiles, conventional and laser-guided bombs, and most notoriously, nuclear gravity bombs. Washington previously sent several B-52s to Qatar in May of 2019, along with other forces that include a carrier strike group. So, the fact that they're sending more, another squadron, and this is B-52s, I would dare say that Trump is going to make good on that word, guys. And this here from Sputnik News says that the Middle East will become a graveyard for the U.S. Pyongyang, apprehensive, eyes Iran crisis. Following the U.S. assassination of Iranian General Soleimani, the Democratic People's Republic of Korea has taken measure of the international situation, which is expected to exercise new caution. However, North Korean dallies noted Washington's course was destined for disaster. North Korean culture publication Aaron Mary put the issue in no uncertain terms, saying on Sunday that the Middle East will become a graveyard for the U.S. Global military experts recently analyzed that the U.S. is being bogged down in a war in the Middle East. Mary wrote, according to the South Korean-based Yonhap news agency, even pro-American countries have been passively answering the U.S. request for sending troops on account of their international politics and economic challenges driving the U.S. into despair. The Korean Central News Agency, the DPRK state-run news outlet, noted on Monday that Moscow and Beijing had taken strong stances against the U.S. drone strike that killed Soleimani in Baghdad earlier Friday morning. China and Russia emphasized that they do not only object to the abuse of military power in international relations, but also cannot tolerate adventurous military acts, KCNA wrote, according to Yonhap, describing a Saturday phone call between Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi and Russian counterpart Sergei Lavrov, noting that they expressed concerns over regional situations being worsened by the U.S. illegal acts. Kim pressured psychological by Soleimani killing. However, despite the rhetoric, experts have noted that the episode is likely to shake Pyongyang's leaders. Yang Moo-jin, a professor at Seoul's University of Northern Korean Studies, told the Korea Herald that it is a result of Baghdad airstrike. DPRK leader Kim Jong-un will be pressured psychologically. Former South Korean Unification Minister Jin Si-hyung said during a television appearance on Sunday that the DPRK would be even more careful than before about revealing Kim's precise whereabouts. So I guess Kim Jong is concerned now, and he's in hiding. Andrea Lokov, a Russian scholar and expert on Korean affairs, noted that in the NK News on Sunday that Soleimani's assassination showed U.S. President Donald Trump was willing to take greater risks than North Korean strategists had previously believed, casting the fire and fury rhetoric of his presidency early years in much a starker light. As time went by, more and more observers were inclined to see that the 2017 is simple bluff, and it became widely accepted that Donald Trump did not have the guts to deliver on threats of the military operation in a highly unsustainable part of the world, Lankov wrote. But last week's killing of General Soleimani demonstrated that the world has underestimated Trump's desire to take risk, or perhaps overestimated his ability to make rational decisions. No doubt the North Koreans have taken note and most likely see it as a warning. They should see it as a warning. Soleimani's death reminded them that excessively risky behavior might result in a U.S. drone quite approaching some targets in Pyongyang suburbs. Lakoff added. It should scare them. It should. As 2019 drew to a close, so did Pyongyang's patience for negotiations with Washington, which after 18 months of talk had failed to yield significant result beyond a June 12, 2018 promise from Trump at his first summit with Kim in Singapore. In his New Year's address, given several days before Solomon's killing, Kim had already taken a more cautious tone than in December when North Korean publications promised a return to bellicose posturing. Kim had previously promised a Christmas gift to Washington, which analysts widely predicted would be Pyongyang's first long-range ballistic missile test since it self-imposed a moratorium in 2017. However, no such present was delivered. Instead, Kim noted Washington's delaying tactics were designed to prolong the harmful effects of the economic sanctions on the DPRK, advising North Korea to buckle their belts more tightly since relief seemed unlikely anytime soon. If the U.S. fails to keep the promise it made before the world, if it misjudges the patience of our people and continues to use sanctions and pressures against our republic, then we will have no choice except to seek a new path to secure sovereignty and interest in our country, Kim said on January 1st. But I bet you he's not saying too much now, guys. Like Pyongyang, Tehran has engaged in prolonged struggles to forge an independent path from Washington amid attempts to frustrate its ability to ensure its self-defense. Both countries have been subjected to strangling economic sanctions in an effort to force them into compliance. But unlike Iran, the DPRK has nuclear weapons as well as being of delivering them. The Iranian leaders have long been accused by Washington of pursuing an atomic bomb and not merely nuclear power, and media and medical research, as they have claimed. Tehran signed the Joint Comprehensive Plan of the Action in 2015 to lower those sanctions in exchange for accepting tight constraints on the volume of nuclear fuel it could possess. But Trump reimposed them in 2018, accusing Iran of secretly pursuing a nuclear bomb, a conclusion not shared by other signatories to the agreement. As the consequence, Tehran has slowly stepped back from the commitments it made in 2015 deal, announcing on Sunday it would scrap the last one it still followed. The two countries' experience in negotiation with Washington have long informed each other, and in the face of intransigence and double talk by the Trump administration, experts like Langoff have predicted the U.S. belligerence toward Iran, despite its obedience to the 2015 deal, was likely only to embolden those who hold hardline positions in Pyongyang, opposing negotiations and concessions to Washington. And I'm sure that he is running scared. Okay, so then we have the U.S. military from Al Jazeera. The U.S. military has no plans to leave Iraq, U.S. Defense Chief. The United States has no plans to pull out military from Iraq, Defense Secretary Mark Esper told the Pentagon reporters on Monday, following reports of U.S. military letter about preparations for withdrawal. There has been no decision whatsoever to leave Iraq, Esper said, when asked about the letter, adding there had also been no plans issued to prepare to leave. There's been no decision made to leave Iraq, period, he told reporters. The letter, cited by news agencies and U.S. media, was sent to Iraqi military by U.S. Marine Corps Brigadier General William H. Seeley III, commanding general of task force in Iraq, the U.S.-led military coalition against the ISIL. A top U.S. general told reporters that the letter was poorly worded, drafted document meant to only underscore the increased movement of forces. Poorly worded implies withdrawal. That's not what's happening. U.S. Army General Mark Milley, chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, told a group of reporters, stressing there was no withdrawal being planned. This was a mistake from McKenzie, Milley told reporters, referring to the U.S. Central Command Commander, General Frank McKenzie. The long and short of it is, it's an honest mistake by people trying to do the right thing in a highly dynamic situation, etc. It should not have been said, he said, adding that the unsigned document was a draft sent to get input from Iraqi officials. The draft letter was sent over to some Iraqi military guys in order to get things coordinated for air movements, etc. Then it went from the guy's hands to another guy's hands, and then it went to your hands. Now it's the Kirkhoff. Esper added the U.S. was still committed to countering ISIL in Iraq alongside the U.S. allies and partners. The reports came a day after the Iraqi parliament urged the government to expel foreign troops following the U.S. killing of Iranian General Soleimani in Baghdad. Iraqi caretaker Prime Minister Abdul Mahdi told the U.S. ambassador to Baghdad on Monday that both countries needed to implement the resolution, the premier's office said in a statement. And mercy, I would not want to be that gentleman, that person that wrote that letter, sending the wrong channel, mixed signals, you know. Okay. Anyway, so much stuff going on. And then, as if Trump doesn't have enough on his plate, you know, we read an article this morning that Congress, the Pelosi and party was going to try to come up with a resolution to revoke Trump's war powers. Ha ha ha. But according to Fox News 4 hours ago, GOP senators moved to dismiss articles of impeachment amid the battle with Pelosi. Senator Josh Hawley of Missouri joined with the host of fellow Republicans Monday to introduce a resolution allowing the chamber to dismiss the articles of impeachment against President Donald Trump for lack of prosecution, as House Speaker Nancy Pelosi delays sending the case for trial. The resolution specifically would update Senate rules to allow the chamber to bring a motion to dismissing the articles. In the real world, when a prosecutor brings a case but refuses to try it, the court has the ability, and the defendant has the right, the constitutional right, I might add, to have those articles, those indictments, those charges dismissed. Hawley said in a speech on the Senate floor, "That is precisely the action that I am proposing today." Hawley joined with the co-sponsor, Senator Rick Scott of Florida, Mike Braun of Indiana, Marsha Blackburn of Tennessee. Mike Brand's my guy. I'm proud he's finally doing something here. Marsha Blackburn of Tennessee, Ted Cruz of Texas, Steve Daines of Montana, John Barrasso of Wyoming, Tom Cotton of Arkansas, Johnny Erst of Iowa, David Perdue of Georgia, and Jim Inhofe of Oklahoma. Speaker Pelosi started this bogus impeachment by claiming President Trump was an urgent threat to democracy who had to be removed now. Hawley said in a statement Monday, but after a bipartisan vote against the articles in the House and with public opposed to the Democrats' partisan games, Pelosi has changed her tune. Now she wants to prevent a Senate trial, perhaps indefinitely, but the Constitution gives the Senate sole power to adjudicate articles of impeachment, not the House. He added, if Speaker Pelosi is afraid to try her case, the articles should be dismissed for failure to prosecute, and Congress should get back to doing the people's business. The Senate currently has a set of 26 rules that govern all impeachment proceedings, which presume a prompt delivery of the articles of impeachment to the Senate following their adoption by the House. But last month, the House voted to adopt two articles of impeachment against the president, abuse of power, and obstruction of Congress. Pelosi, after the vote, said she wanted reassurance that the Senate would hold a fair trial involving certain Democrat-sought witnesses before sending over the articles of the Senate to begin proceedings. Pelosi, who has been sitting on the articles of impeachment since before Christmas, has yet to transmit them to Senator Majority Leader Mitch McConnell. Hawley's resolution would allow the Senate to dismiss the articles of impeachment for lack of prosecution once the House was withhold the articles for 25 calendar days or more. Under the proposed rule, any senator would be able to move to dismiss the articles once the time period has elapsed. The motion would then be voted upon by the full Senate. At this point, Pelosi has held the articles of impeachment for 19 days. The House voted to adopt the articles on December 18, 2019. After 3 years of searching for a reason to impeach the president, Democrats in the House cannot seem to find the time to send over the articles of impeachment. Blackburn said in a statement Monday, if the House Democrats are so confident in their findings, they ought to have no problem sending the articles over within 25 days deadline. On Friday, McConnell spoke from the Senate floor, rejecting Pelosi's efforts to shaping and pending impeachment trial, calling it a fantasy. This turn is over. They've done enough damage. It's the Senate's turn now to render sober judgment, he said, while stressing that the Senate cannot hold a trial unless and until Pelosi transmit the two articles. At the center of the inquiry is Trump's efforts to press Ukraine to launch politically related investigations regarding former VP Joe Biden and his son Hunter's dealings in Ukraine, as well as issues related to the 2016 presidential election. The president's request came after millions of dollars in U.S. military aid to Ukraine had been frozen, which Democrats argue shows a quid pro quo arrangement. Trump has denied any wrongdoing. McConnell indicated that the Senate process is a standstill deal for now and accused the House of getting cold feet. The same people who spent weeks screaming that the impeachment was so urgent now decided it could wait indefinitely while they checked the political winds and looked for some new talking points, he said. Meanwhile,
They're trying to stack the deck again.
well, of course they want to stack the deck. They can't get their way, so they're having a hissy fit. Meanwhile, Senate Democrats are seeking high-level witnesses and documents as part of a potential Senate trial. While we will fulfill our duty to conduct a fair impeachment trial of the President of the United States, or will we not? That is the most pressing question facing the Senate. Minority Leader Chuck Schumer said last week, the country just saw McConnell's answer to that question. The answer is no. Schumer argued that McConnell is ignoring the only one president that matters here. Never in the history of our country has there been an impeachment trial in which the Senate was denied the ability to hear from witnesses, yet the Republicans' leaders seem intent on violating that precedent and denial critical evidence to this body and to the American people, Schumer said, adding that McConnell had no intentions to be impartial. One of those highly sought-after witnesses is former National Security John Bolton, who said in a statement on Monday that he would testify in a potential impeachment trial should he be subpoenaed by the Senate. And I mind you, if the Democrats wanted to have all these witnesses and wanted it to be a display, why didn't they have this over there where they were supposed to prove their case? They never proved their case, and yet they want to come over here and try to control the Senate. It don't work that way. And I do hope that Senator Josh Hawley of Missouri and those other Republicans do pass this resolution to dismiss the articles. Anyway, I think it is crazy. It's insane, guys. Exactly, and that's exactly it. All they did was indict him, and that's what people don't understand. They're making much to do about it, and nothing has really truly happened. And in short term of it, he's not even technically impeached, I guess you can say, because they haven't carried to because it has to be confirmed by the Senate, and they haven't done it. So when they want to talk about constitutional crisis and crap, they are the ones that have commenced in this constitutional, and they are the ones behind this crisis, not the Republicans. Yeah, exactly, Lone Maple. Trying to get through all these articles, guys. It's quite a few here. Now, in case I'm hearing choppers. I don't know if anybody else is hearing choppers, but I'm hearing choppers. Secret Service at Mar-a-Lago adds 4 checkpoints to examine vehicles for explosives and search guests for weapons after Iran put out $80 million hit on the president. And if you guys missed the story this morning, that $80 million bounty, according to the article that I read this morning, Lopez, I think it was from Brett Baer, George Lopez, the actor, has accepted that bounty and claims that he'll do it for half.
His ass needs thrown straight in jail right now.
Yeah.
He's already agreed to try and assassinate the president. Chunk his ass in jail.
Yeah, we've scared the Rocket Man, that's for sure. Ronald Kessler, a former Washington Post and Wall Street Journal investigative reporter, is the New York Times we don't care. The Secret Service has substantially toughened security as Donald Trump's Mar-a-Lago resort after 3 potentially harmful intrusions, and now Iran has put out an $80 million hit on the president. No longer can anyone wander on to Palm Beach property under false pretenses, has happened last March with Yingyang Song from China. Depending on where members and guests are headed on the property, they now may have to pass through as many as 4 security checkpoints. Well, they should. Their identities are checked based on their driver's license, and their vehicles are examined for explosive under the hood and in the trunk. They must pass through metal detectors or be wanted for weapons or explosives at several more checkpoints. The added security should make it impossible for intruders to sneak in again. avoiding repeat incidences by trespassers. Mark Liddum, a college freshman who wandered around the resort for 20 minutes during the Trump's 2018 Thanksgiving visit, and a Chinese national, Zheng Lu, who entered the grounds last month to try to take photos without being immediately apprehended by Secret Service agents. Now, the presence of Secret Service agents and uniformed officers appear to have been increased by at least a third. Ramped up security services have also been imposed at the Trump International Golf Course in West Palm Beach, where President Trump goes to play golf or partake in buffet dinners. Under the new protocol, identifies a club member, and guests are checked with driver's license, and vehicles entering the property are examined for explosives under the hood and in the trunk. The tougher measures by the Secret Service are in addition to protection by the Air Force, which enforces a no-fly zone over Mar-a-Lago when Trump is in town. The Coast Guard, which patrols the waters around Mar-a-Lago and Palm Beach, and Palm Beach County Police, who shut down roads leading to the former Major Meriwether Post Estate, and expects trunks approaching the area when Trump is in town. The U.S. Army also maintains a contingent on the grounds in case needed. Troubling at recent intrusions at Mar-a-Lago, where they were trivial compared with the repeated Secret Service fiascos that took place during the Obama administration. Back then, Mikhail and Tariq Saleh went prancing into the White House state dinner and were greeted by President Obama, even though they were not on the guest list. In a story I broke, Secret Service agents were hiring prostitutes when Obama visited the Cartagena, Colombia. Back home, inebriated Secret Service agents drove their car up to the White House itself and interrupted an active bomb investigation, and an intruder, Omar J. Gonzalez, jumped the White House fence and ran into an unlocked White House and entered the East Room armed with a folding knife. Underscoring the agency's arrogance and cover-up tendencies, the Secret Service Director Julia Pearson publicly claimed that it is not a killing. Gonzalez Secret Service uniformed officers exercised tremendous restraint. Pearson coupled that the false statements she approved, saying that the Gonzalez had been quickly detained at the door and search determined that he was unarmed. Pearson later admitted at a House Oversight Government Reform Committee hearing that she knew that Gonzalez, in fact, carried a weapon when he was arrested. Senior FBI officials was horrified by Secret Service's handling of this matter and found laughable its efforts to cover up its own failure, up brazenly hailing the officer's restraint. And there's a little bit more to that, but I wanted to make sure that we touched base about the faulty, so you can understand, there is no overkill on this, I would say. Because some people would say, well, this is just an overkill, but I disagree. I think it is warranted. Then we also have from Daily Mail, there's a picture of that U.S. soldier that was 23 from Chicago suburb, and he has been identified as one of the 3 Americans killed in the Al-Shabaab car bomb attack in Kenya. And it says the last time the Army specialist Henry Mayfield Jr. spoke to his mother on New Year's Eve day, he reassured her that the military base in Kenya was secure. 4 days later, the 23-year-old soldier from suburban Chicago became one of the 3 Americans who lost their lives in a car bomb blast set off by Al-Shabaab extremists at the Manda Bay airfield near Lamu. I'm hearing a lot. Hey, John.
That's the train. That's the train.
That's the train. Okay. I was like, I'm hearing a lot of activity going on outside. Anyway, I want us to see the young gentleman that gave his life for America in Kenya. And it is such a travesty. And we will pray for his family later, guys, during Bible study. Recent trip to the border in Texas, there were scarves found with their back. Oh, wow. That's crazy, Cam. Okay. So, then I don't know what I don't know if this is a secret message that DJ Jr. sent it out, but Donald Trump Jr. poses with an AR-15 rifle featuring images of Hillary Clinton behind bars and Jerusalem Crusader cross. But spokesman says it's not a statement about his father's angry clash with Iran's Islamic regime. Donald Trump Jr. is showed off the newest firearm in his collection on Sunday, posting 3 Instagram photos of a Crusader model AR-15 rifle fitted with ammunition magazine whose design depicts Hillary Clinton behind bars. I think it was a pretty cool picture too, guys. I'm going to show you. Austin, Texas-based Rare Breed Firearms made the gun, which also features a Jerusalem cross. The emblem was associated with the Crusaders, a series of wars between Christians and Muslims during the 11th, 12th, and 13th centuries. A spokesperson for Trump Jr. insisted Monday that the president's eldest son wasn't trying to weigh in on the chaos in the Middle East, whose latest chapter saw a U.S. drone attack the Soleimani, the leader of Iran's Quad Force. Anyone claiming that Jerusalem cross is some sort of a political statement couldn't be more ignorant. Symbols depicting different warriors are about as common in the gun culture as hating President Trump is oped pages of New York Times, the spokesperson said in a text message. Hopefully you guys can see this. Okay, looky here. Look at that clip. Can you see? It is Hillary behind bars. I hope y'all could see that on the AR-15. Pretty crazy. Here is another one, a close-up, I guess you could say, that you might be able to see better. Which I say, it's pretty crazy. The manufacturer also produces an AR-15 design based on the ancient Greek city-state of Sparta, known as for its warfighting culture. Don's Instagram post was strictly about him using a famous meme to mock Hillary Clinton, as he and many others have done on numerous occasions and will surely do again in the future, as long as it continues triggering humorless liberals, the spokesman added. Trolling Clinton, the Democrat who unsuccessfully challenged President Trump in a 2016 election, appears to have been an afterthought. The weapon, which Rare Breed markets as the Crusader rifle, cost $2,125. Its distinguishing feature is a 2-tone metal helmet that wraps around the lower receiver. Well, I guess they just rocketed in cells right there, but I thought that was kind of funny, guys. It says the magazine decorated with the Clinton's face behind the prison bars sells for $20 online from Spike's Tactical, the exclusive distributor for the Rare Breed. So there you go. It is, if you want a clip like that for your AR-15, you can buy it at Spike's Tactical. I like it. I don't have an AR-15, but I might just have to buy me that clip. I thought that was pretty funny, guys. I'm sorry. Anyway, and of course, everybody is going to make much to do about it whenever he's just more trying to, you know, I guess you could say he's trolling the liberals. That's funny. Anyway, Trump Jr. thanked both companies for his Instagram post for adding a little extra awesome to my AR during a visit to the firing range. And the mag he added, referring to the Clinton design. The Jerusalem cross history stretches from the 11th century Jerusalem to modern-day Roman Catholicism, where it shows up in some priestly vestments. Anyway, that's it for that article, guys. But I had to share that. I thought that was a pretty cool clip.
Your father-in-law has AR-15.
My husband reminded me that my stepdad has a AR-15. I can buy him one. Oh, mercy. According to the Daily Mail, it says killing Trump is not valuable enough to compensate for Soleimani's blood. Top general in Iran calls for America's complete removal from the Middle East. A top general in Iran has said that killing President Donald Trump would not be enough retaliation for the death of the Revolutionary Guard General Soleimani, suggesting that Iran's response to the deadly U.S. airstrike would not stop with a single attack. Firing a couple of missiles, hitting a base, or even killing Trump is not valuable enough to compensate for the martyr of Soleimani's blood. General Amir Ali Hajazadeh, that is one hard name to say, guys, and Hajazadeh, I guess, the head of the Guard's aerospace program, said on the state TV. The only thing that can compensate for his blood is the complete removal of the American from the region. Hezbollah's comments on Monday came as an emotional funeral for Soleimani in a Tehran draw a crowd said by police to be in the millions in Tehran. And I'll say it looks like a whole lot. Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei wept over Soleimani's casket, his prayers joining the wails of mourners who flooded the streets of Tehran, demanding retaliation against America for a slaying that's drastically raised tensions across the Middle East. Authorities later brought Soleimani's remains and others to Iran's holy city. That is not a train, y'all. Yeah, my husband keeps hollering, that's a train. He can't decipher helicopter noise from trains. He's in trouble, guys. He's also part deaf. You have to almost scream at him. So that's a lot of traffic going on outside. It was unprecedented honor for a man viewed by Iranians as national hero for his work leading to the Guard's expeditionary quad force. The U.S. blames him for the killing of the American troops in Iraq and accused him of plotting. We already know all this. We don't have to read all this. But again, like I just want to reiterate, as many articles as we have, all they want is us out of that area, according to their request here. But they won't settle. They are rabid dogs that will do nothing but continue to attack Americans, attack Christians, attack anyone that they disagree with and dislike. Let's see. Okay. Now, before let me put this. Okay, I skipped over this. I don't know how I could have done that, guys. Especially since we're talking about Iran. I get and all the things that's going on. This here article comes from AP News, and it says Trump tests Congress war powers with a strike against Iran. President Donald Trump's confrontation with Iran is posting a gut check for Congress, brazenly testing whether the House and Senate will exert their own authority over U.S. military strategy or cede more war powers to the White House. As tensions rise at home and abroad, Speaker Nancy Pelosi will hold a House vote this week to eliminate Trump's ability to engage Iran's military after the surprise U.S. airstrike that killed Soleimani. A Senate vote is expected to soon follow. Yet Congress has shown time and again that it's unable to exert its ability to authorize or halt military actions. With their inaction, lawmakers have begrudgingly allowed the commander-in-chief to all but disregard Congress, and there are doubts that this time will be any different. I think this president has pushed this to the limit with the action that has a huge escalating effect, said Scott Anderson, a former attorney in the State Department, a legal office, and former legal advisor for the U.S. Embassy in Baghdad. Maybe this will push Congress to make it a priority. Anything short of legislative action does not mean anything. The showdown between the White House and Capitol Hill provides the latest example of how Trump's willingness to break the norms in Washington is setting new standards in governance. Ahead of the attack that killed the Iranian general, the president did not consult with congressional leaders. In the aftermath, he refused to make public his justification for the airstrike. Well, come on, guys. When you have them coordinating together since he announced his run for office, trying to fabricate, stuff to come after him. There's no wonder that the president why would the president trust any of them? I mean, give me a break. And we know that they would just leak it out, They're ridiculous to think that that the president should trust them. It's the president's decision. Anyway. Facing an outcry, Trump scoffed that his tweets should provide adequate updates to Congress regardless of what is required by law. And we also talked about that tweet this morning. Republicans have largely supported Trump action, saying that the president was well within his powers to take out Iran's architect of proxy operations against Americans in the Middle East. The U.S. considered Soleimani a terrorist. Senator Majority Leader Mitch McConnell said Monday, there's plenty of time for lawmakers to learn more about the president's reasoning for the attack. He complained that the Democrats rushed to blame our own government before even knowing the facts, rushed to downplay Soleimani's evil while presenting our president as the villain. But Senator Minority Leader Chuck Schumer said Monday it is essential for Congress to put a check on this president. Jack Goldsmith, a professor at the law school, said both parties in Congress have for years gone along with an expansion of presidential war powers, especially with regard to conflicts in the Middle East. In short, our country has, through presidential arrangement accompanied by congressional authorization, delegation, and acquiescence, given one person, the president, a sprawling military and enormous discretion to use it when they can easily lead to a massive war, Goldsmith said in an essay in Lawfare online newsletter he co-founded. That is our system. One person decides. Past presidents at least signaled a nod to the legislative branch, which has the sole power under the Constitution to declare war, knowing they would need to ask Congress to pay for military operations. It's one way the founders sought to keep the executive in check. But Congress has allowed its role to erode since the passage of the authorization for use of military force in 2001 to fight terrorism after the September 11th attack. The fallout from those votes has deeply divided Congress and the nation, with many lawmakers, particularly Democrats, now saying they were a mistake. Yet lawmakers have been paralyzed on the question of whether to repeal or change those authorities. Only after the U.S.-based journalist Jamal Khashoggi was killed at the last summer in the gruesome murder at the Saudi Arabian consulate in Turkey did Congress muster the resolve to slap restrictions on a U.S. involvement with the Saudi-led war in Yemen. It was a rare exertion of authority from Congress, the first since the passage of the War Powers Act of 1973, and Trump promptly vetoed it. So, I mean, even if, okay, guys, worst case scenario, they put this resolution to the vote in the House. It has to go to the Senate and be voted on, and unless it's a 2/3 majority, the president will veto it. What part of stupid are these people? We're not going to read anymore, but we got the logistics of it. That Trump doesn't care about Congress, what they think or what they're going to do anyway. Okay, now can we say photo opt any bigger, guys? Cuomo, governor, rescues an incredible moment that Cuomo helps cut driver out of a car after coming across a crash in New York City. And it says New York Governor Cuomo jumped into action when he saw a man stranded inside an overturned vehicle after an accident on Monday. The video recorded by a member of Cuomo's staff shared on Twitter shows the three-term Democratic governor daringly climbing to the top of the flipped-over truck and helping cut a passenger from his seatbelt. The incident took place on Brooklyn Queen Express as Cuomo was returning from a luncheon hosted by the Association for a Better New York. So, and there's a video on here, so if anybody cares to go and check out those that live in New York that care that you're Cuomo, yeah, that's Cuomo, helping someone come out of a truck, which that was a good thing. And how that truck got on its side is beyond me. Such a crazy situation. Anyway, I'm not going to read the rest of the article, but we've got the picture. He helped somebody there. Good job for Cuomo. That was a good thing to do. Okay. There was a group of children throwing snowballs at a passing car that were shot at by a driver who hit a girl, 12, and a 13-year-old boy. Two children were part of a group of children throwing snowballs at a passing car were shot by a driver whose car was hit. The children 12 and the 12-year-old girl and a 13-year-old boy were found with non-life-threatening injuries about 8 p.m. on Saturday in Milwaukee. Police said the children were thought to be part of a larger group who was playing around in the snow. However, when a snowball hit a white Toyota, it upset the driver, allegedly shot at the group, hitting 2 children. Officers who found the injured children administered first aid before taking them both to local hospitals for treatment, police said on Twitter on Monday. The girl was the first round wounded by police at the 6100 block of West Birch Street. Upon arrival, the 12-year-old Milwaukee female suffering from non-life-threatening gunshot wounds, cops said in a second tweet. Preliminary investigation indict both victims with a group of juveniles throwing snowballs at a car passing. One of the snowballs struck a white Toyota, no further description, and the other, the auto fired shots into the group of kids, striking 2 victims. The police wrote in a third tweeted description of the incident. And guys, come on, that's what kids do. They play in the snow. What is wrong with people that we've got to shoot at someone because they throw a snowball at us?
Come on, you don't get napkins, you get shot at.
Well, yeah, true. Stay away from drive-thrus, guys. Fast food's dangerous these days.
Drive-through and snowballs.
I mean, it's disgusting, guys. And then, according to the Daily Mail also, Jeffrey Epstein's family, the pathologist, claims that the alleged noose doesn't match the wound on the neck, proving he was murdered after a new autopsy picture emerges. The private pathologist hired by Jeffrey Epstein's family to investigate the pedophile's death claims newly released photos from the autopsies reaffirm his conclusion that it wasn't a suicide. Dr. Michael Baden, who was paid by Epstein's brother Mark to oversee the autopsy following the millionaire's death in his New York City prison cell in August, said the injuries to Epstein's neck, captured in images from the medical examiner, are more indicative of homicide, Baden said. The litigator mark on Epstein's neck doesn't match the bedsheets noose seen in the photos from the millionaire's cell at Manhattan's Metropolitan Correctional Center. It was too wide and too smooth, the pathologist said during a Fox News interview on Monday. This is a rougher injury. He also noted that there was no blood on the noose and said that the 3 neck fractures Epstein suffered would not have been caused by a hanging. And here's what they're showing, so you guys can see. His clone's dead. Yeah, well, they could have had, there could have been rocks in it, but I mean, that doesn't give anyone the right to shoot at a kid. I mean, give me a break. It's a snowball. I mean, yeah, granted, the children should have been in trouble, but you don't go shooting at somebody because he was found dead on August 10 in his prison cell where he was awaiting trial. We know this. I think there's a lot more information that still hasn't been revealed, yet that is essential in order to arrive in a conclusion whether this is a suicide or a homicide, he said. So basically, they're trying to say that it is not he's saying it's not a suicide, guys. He says that the evidence doesn't correlate with it, and I don't want to read any more of that one, guys. Sorry. But we have an update. Supposedly, according, the sheets don't match. Okay. Then we also have another article about Mayor de Blasio. Now, of course, you know, we saw the heroic gesture that he did, rescuing a man from the truck. But, of course, he's got to be doing something because I'm sure his reputation is just dwindling away up there in New York. New York Mayor Bill de Blasio intervened to have erratic anti-Semitic attacker locked up in psych ward because she was left to go free under new bail reforms and was bad publicity for his administration. So even though they did not detain this woman, whenever they arrested her for her first initial assaults, and they let her get out, and she did it again. So then, to save face, Bill de Blasio has her locked up in the psych ward, according to Daily Mail. New York Mayor Bill de Blasio intervened in the prosecution of an accused anti-Semitic attacker and lobbied to have her locked up in a psychiatric ward because she was generating negatively publicity for his administration, the New York Post reported. So, and there's people protesting justice, not vengeance. So anyway, there's that article, and if you guys are interested in reading that, you can do so. It is in the Wixit site. I do want to cover this article here a little bit. There is this article from Daily Mail that says a teenager, Cicero 19, tells friends to film him as he assassinates a man and his passenger at a busy intersection near the U.S.-Mexico border. This is the moment a teenage Cicero calmly walks up to a motorist and abruptly opens fire, killing a man and another person in an act he ordered his getaway driver to film last month in Mexico. The horrifying incident took place on December 22nd, 2019, while several cars were stopped at a traffic light on a road in the border city of Juarez. Record Cruz, the male shooter, is heard telling his accomplice on the video after opening the vehicle's door. The suspect is seen walking to the driver's side of the pickup truck and fired off at least 14 shots as a traffic started to flow in both directions. He then sprinted back to his car and got inside as the driver was set to make a U-turn and escape. According to the Mexican news outlet, this video eventually uploaded to social media this past weekend. It is a tactic assassins use to show proof that the hit jobs they have contracted for are carried out. La Polka and La Pena reported that the shooter, who was identified as Jose Carlos Molina, 19, after a mugshot and arrest images of him were disseminated across social media, had been arrested Saturday. Well, good, he needed to be arrested. However, a spokesperson for the Northern Zone Attorney General's Office of the state of Chihuahua contradicted the reports in an interview with Daily Mail on Monday and said no apprehensions had been carried out as of Monday afternoon. So they're denying that he'd been arrested. That's retarded. They needed to arrest him. And if they arrested him, they needed to keep him. But again, if it was a hired hit, that area is so, the cartel runs it. So they get away with whatever they want to do. It's insane. We do have good news, though. LA prosecutors are charging Harvey Weinstein with raping a woman at a hotel and sexually assaulting another the following night, just 5 days before the 2013 Oscars, where he appeared with his pregnant wife at his New York trial finally gets underway. And I say that's good news. I'm not going to read this article, guys, but it is in Wixit. I just want to make sure that I get all of those headlines out there so that you guys know what's going on with other things. Let's see. Okay. I'm going to give all those that have a weak stomach time to plug their ears, because you do not probably want to hear about this next story. This story comes with a warning. I have been in trouble for the past because people said that I did not give warnings. So I'm giving you all a warning, okay? Plug your ears, okay, if you have weak stomach. All right. From Daily Mail, it says, Cannibal 50 is accused of cutting off and eating testicles from a man named Kevin Bacon, 25, after he hung him upside down and slit his throat. A Michigan man accused of murder and cannibalism reportedly suspended his alleged victim from a ceiling by his ankles and stabbed him twice before slitting his throat and cutting off his testicles to eat them, court documents show. The body of 25-year-old Kevin Bacon was found inside the Bennington Township home of a murder suspect, Mark Latusnik, 50, on December 28th, 4 days after he was last seen alive. Bacon's roommate, Michelle Meyer, told police she last saw him alive on the evening of December 24th, as he was leaving their home to meet up with a man he'd met on the mobile dating app, Grinder, before completely vanishing. The man he was venturing off to meet, it would be later revealed, was Latuska, and the new court documents obtained by Michigan Live reveal the horrifying fate awaiting the 25-year-old hairstylist when he stepped inside the suspect's home. Michigan State Police received a call for assistance from the Clayton Township Police Department. Yeah, you guys were probably thinking this happened overseas, but yeah. It is gross, guys. I told you it was gross. I gave you a warning, Brandy. I did, all in fairness now. Michigan State Police received, and you know, you hear about these stories, which we did one about cannibalism not too long ago. I can't remember what it was, but it was over the pond, okay? You don't hear a whole lot of stories about cannibalism here in the United States, but the real bacon is way better and legal too. Prayers for the family. I hear ya. Michigan State Police received a call for assistance. Oh, thank you. Happy New Year, Boston girl. God bless you, sister. Thank you so much. Oh, you were so sweet. Thank you.
Yeah, I know, I'm being sick.
You were being gross.
Yeah, did his testicles taste like bacon?
Y'all do not want to hear that poor joke that my husband just made. But thank you so much, Boston girl. I appreciate it so very much. You guys are so awesome. I've heard some pretty bad stories. Oh my God, Twinkie D. This is just gross, Twinkie. I'm sorry. It says Michigan State Police received a call for assistance from Clayton Township Police Department to conduct a welfare check for Bacon inside Latuska's home on December 28th after receiving a tip he may be inside. Officers then conducted an interview with the 50-year-old who agreed to let them carry out a search of the home after reportedly admitting to killing Bacon by stabbing him in the back and sliding his throat late Christmas Eve or early Christmas morning. Bacon was found dead, hanging upside down from a ceiling, naked, where he had been suspended with rope tied around his ankles for nearly 4 days. Latuska then reportedly admitted to the officers he also used the murder weapon to cut off Bacon's testicles and later ate them. Police testimony shows Latuska has been charged with 1 count of open murder and 1 count of mutilation of a human body. He's been in custody ever since police found Bacon's body at his home. It says divorce, custody, and criminal records also reveal an extensive history of complaints about Latuski's health. He was known to have stopped taking the medication prescribed to treat his various mental illnesses, according to records from the 66th District, the 35th District Courts. Well, if you're not taking your medicine, you cannot get well, people. That is the moral of the story there. Oh my goodness sakes, goodness sakes, goodness sakes. A motion filed by his ex-wife suspended visitation rights to his children. Well, obviously she had definitely had grounds, guys. Just disgusting. Oh my goodness. To my knowledge, I couldn't force him to see a therapist, take medication, Arnold said. Never in a million years did I ever think he'd be capable of doing such horrendous crimes. Just gross, guys. Just disgusting. Okay, we've had enough of that story, right? I can move on to the next story. That article, though, is in the Wixit site, guys. That is horrifying, guys. Just disgusting. Okay. So then we have this article from Zero Hedge that says there was a horrifying chain reaction tractor trailer wreck on Pennsylvania Turnpike that leaves 5 dead and 60 injured. There's been a lot of massive injuries in car pileups recently, guys. There was one in Virginia, if I'm not mistaken, just last week, and now we have one in Pennsylvania that left 5 people dead. It says 5 people were killed and dozens were injured after a massive wreck on a Pennsylvania turnpike Sunday morning. The accident took place at a 340 near a mountainous and rural stretch of the interstate about 30 miles east of Pittsburgh. The accident happened after a loaded bus lost control on a hill and rolled over, which set off a chain of reaction involving 3 tractor trailers, according to the AP. The accident caused the highway to be shut down in both directions for several hours before reopening. Well, the highway always gets shut down anytime there's a fatality in both directions, in case you didn't know that. That just looks horrible, guys. It says injured victims ranged from age 7 to 67 years old, and they are all expected to survive. 2 patients remain in critical condition. 2 UPS driving together in the tractor trailer and coming up from Harrisburg were killed in the crash, according to the company. The bus was traveling from Rockaway, New Jersey to Cincinnati, Ohio, and was operated by a company called ZD Tours. It was going downhill around a curve and wound up rolling over before the 2 tractor trailers struck the vehicle. A passenger car was involved. Disturbing video for the scene of the wreck can be seen here, but it looks like they took it down, thank God. Pennsylvania State Police spokesperson Stephen Lamini said it was kind of a chain reaction crash. Pennsylvania's Turnpike spokesman Carl DeFabio said, I haven't personally witnessed a crash of this magnitude in 20 years. It is horrible. Exela Health Frick Hospital in Mount Pleasant said it treated 31 victims. Mark Rubino, president of the Forbes Hospital, said, which treated the 11 victims, said, the people coming in were not only physically injured, but they were traumatized from a mental standpoint as well. Most were covered in diesel fuel when they arrived. The hospital treated fractured bones, brain bleeds, oh my goodness sakes, contusions, abrasions, and spinal injuries. The exact cause of the crash is still being investigated, and the NTSB has sent a team to investigate. It could take weeks or months to determine the cause. Angela Maynard, a tractor trailer driver from Kentucky, said the roads were wet from snow but not icy. She found the crash site and called 911. She then stepped out to help another driver who was trapped in their truck. I tried to keep him occupied, keep talking until medical help arrived. He was in bad shape. He was floating in and out of consciousness, she said. That is just horrible, guys. Horrifiable. There's also this article from Haaretz, dozens of hospitals in serious condition amid swine flu outbreak in Israel. Health providers have ordered an additional inventory of 130,000 vaccines, which should arrive in coming weeks. The number of cases of the flu is continuing to rise in all age groups and regions in the country, according to the weekly report of the Health Ministry Center for Disease Control. The number of visits to the clinics, the hospitals due to the flu symptoms, and pneumonia, which is a common complication, is about 18 per year, 1,000 people compared to 7 per 1,000 in the same period last year, says the center. The increase is seen mainly in those under the age of 2 and over the age of 65, but there has an increase in the other age groups as well. Compared to previous years, the occupancy rate in hospital children wards rose in the past week from the 107% to 113%. About 90% of the samples of the flu patients are of the H1N1 virus, known as the swine flu. About 30 flu patients, including some children, are in serious condition. Since the beginning of the winter, 170 Israelis, including 45 children, have been hospitalized in serious condition, and there have been 16 deaths. So guys, let's not play. I mean, there's a little bit more to this article, but if you think you have the flu, don't play around. It can really take a toll on somebody. It is horrible, guys. Okay. Now this one is a creepy one. This headline here, guys. Why anybody would do it, it just makes you itch just thinking about it. It makes me itch just looking at this little critter thingy. U.S. police investigate a case involving the release of bed bugs in Pennsylvania Walmart. And this article comes from Sputnik News. Now, why anybody would want to do that, I have no clue, but it said bed bugs are believed to have been released last week inside a Walmart grocery store in the U.S. state of Pennsylvania, according to authorities. According to a manager at a store in Pennsylvania town of Edinburgh, he found a closed pill bottle with live bed bugs inside it on January 2nd. The bottle was found inside a boy's jacket, which was on sale. A second pill bottle containing dead bed bugs was later found in the men's department at the same Walmart location shortly afterwards. Bed bugs were also found crawling inside the men's fitting room. Officials from the health safety company Ecolab confirmed this week that the insects found in the store were in fact bed bugs. Walmart reached out to other stores in the area and verified this has been an isolated incident, state police officials who are currently reviewing surveillance videos from the store confirmed the bottles containing bed bugs have also been collected by police for fingerprint processing. According to the U.S. Center for Disease Control and Prevention, the CDC, bed bugs are small, flat, parasitic insects that feed solely on the blood of people and animals while they sleep. The insects are reddish-brown in color and range between 1 and 7 millimeters in size. However, despite the fact that they are a nuisance, bed bugs aren't necessarily dangerous in most cases. A bed bug affects each person differently. Bites response can range from an absence of any physical signs of the bite to a small bite mark to serious allergic reaction. Bed bugs are not considered to be dangerous, however. An allergic reaction to several bites may need medical attention, the CDS explains on its website. And that's just disgusting, guys. Just disgusting. Yep. We read that story earlier, Cody. That was one of the stories we covered. I know you were here, I thought, when we read that. They are sending them over there. Okay. I've got 2 articles left, guys, and I'm almost done. Yay. A powerful earthquake of a 5.8 magnitude destroys Puerto Rico's famed Playa Ventana rock formation. It says a 5.8 quake that hit Puerto Rico before dawn on Monday has destroyed one of the U.S. territory's famous tourist attractions. The quake caused the collapse of the renowned rock formation known as the Playa Ventana in Guadalajara. Residents shared photos of the top half of the natural wonder, also dubbed the Window Beach, which had completely broken off. It is also known as Window Beach because of the rock formation that was raised above the ocean with a massive hole that gave the feeling of looking at it see through a window. And let me see. I believe there was a better picture than that one, but no. I thought there was a better picture. But apparently they had a pretty bad earthquake, guys. It looks like there was quite a bit of damage, but I want to show you guys this picture really quick. If you guys can see. Over here's the one with it, and over there's the one without. Hey, Kevin. How are you, honey? Yeah, I know. It makes you kind of just squeamish just a little bit. Burn it all, no burgers. I hear you, Carolyn. Burn it down. And there it is without their beautiful little scenery. There's here it is. Okay. There it is before. And then, and here it is after the earthquake. It says other residents shared their thoughts and loss of the iconic formation, but officials said that it struck at 6:32. There was no tsunami threat, according to the forecast. There was 4% chance of aftershocks, and there's some pictures of some houses that were affected, and there's debris on the interstate, and it just looks like they got hit pretty good, guys. And their, main thing was I would be upset more about the houses, but they're at a loss for,
Just sit here for a little bit.
They're-
You're hungry, okay? But you're not gonna sleep.
I guess, claim to fame.
Sleep.
That's why people would go visit over there. Then we also have this article. This is the last article for the day, guys. Aren't you just so glad? Tom Hanks' face said it all. Social media erupts with hilarious memes after Ricky Gervais roast woke Hollywood hypocrites. Hollywood's biggest star may still be recovering from the roasting they received during Ricky Gervais' Golden Globes opening monologue Sunday night, but the internet didn't waste a second sounding off about his tongue lashing or turning Tom Hanks' reactions into a trendy meme. During his open monologue at the 77th Golden Globe Award, Gervais skewered woke Hollywood, made jokes about Jeffrey Epstein, Harvey Weinstein, and Prince Andrew, and tackled topics such as the Me Too and ISIS, leaving his A-list audience wincing during his opening monologue. Close-up shot of Tom Hanks, Robert De Niro, and Gwyneth Paltrow revealed they were left with stunned looks on their faces as Gervais mocked celebrities in and out of the room during his 8-minute speech. This man got more of a rage and a damaged yield to him than a effing intercontinental ballistic missile, wrote on one Twitter user. Okay, so here is shots fired tweet. It says, this man got more of a rage and damage yield to him than an effing and that was the thing. A man of people, thank you for saying what needed to be said. Thank you for shaking up Hollywood and saying what most of us are thinking. And here's a picture of, I don't know who that picture is, but you can see the gesture, his hand gesture, anyway. Fire me, I effing dare you. There's another meme. And, nope, don't like that. I bet not. In particularly blunt moment, Gervais advised those receiving awards to avoid making political speeches because you're in no position to be to the public about anything before adding, if you win, come up, accept your little award, thank your agent, and then you, and your God, and F off. People watching and tweeting at home hurried to social media to praise Gravis scathing comments and turn on screen celebrity reactions into memes. Man of the people, one Twitter user wrote, thank you for saying what needed to be said. Thank you, Rick Gervais. Suck it, Hollywood, another Twitter wrote. I don't watch the award shows and not into the celebrity scene, on one Twitter admitted, but boy did hashtag Ricky Gervais skewer everyone. Wow. He then added a meme reading shots fired. One Twitter used posted GIF from the US version of The Office. Gervais created the UK original, reading, nope, don't like that. The only thing better than Ricky Gervais' opening monologue was Tom Hanks' reaction throughout it. And you can tell he was not happy, guys. Starring Tom Hanks as Boomer. The face you make when the host just burned you and all your dumb friends. Now, he got burned, I'm sure, it sounds like. The entire Golden Globes audience, after being called out by Ricky Gervais for their hypocrisy, bringing the fire, the tweeter added, Tom Hanks' variety of stunned reactions to Gervais' statements in a particular really captured the image of meme creators. Tom Hanks is the only thing worth watching at the Golden Globes, one person tweeted. The face you make when the host just burned you and all your dumb, on Twitter, we already read that. But that was pretty funny. During the 8-minute speech, alongside pointing out his fifth and final time hosting the awards. Well, you'd think Gervis also railed against the new brand. Yeah, I don't think they're going to invite him back. I don't know about y'all, but I just don't see that happening anytime soon. The Apple roared into the TV game with the morning show. He said the super drama about the importance of dignity and doing the right thing made a company that runs sweatshops in China. Ironically, Apple boss Tim Cook looked like a sweatshop himself as all his eyes and video cameras turned on him in the audience. I think it's funny, guys. There's a little bit more to it, but I think we get the gist of it. You know, dude really got him good. And obviously, he's not going to be invited back. And those are the type of people you want speaking and giving speeches. Aw, shame. I don't watch them because I just don't like Hollywood anymore. I mean, it's a little bit ridiculous, I think, to say the least, guys. And there is too much to give a recap. Take it easy, calm down. It's now coming in. What happened? Oh, we had lots happen. Lots. Let me, I will kind of recap just a few things. I can't do it all, but I will the highlights. How's that? But I just covered a story about Ricky Gervais roasting them in the Globe Awards, the Golden Globe Awards, and so it sounds like they got a good taste of their medicine. Anyway, let's see. Okay, let me do this. I'm stopping, that's all the news, but I'm stopping Josh Who. They're not gonna get the update, sorry guys. Or they're not gonna get the, cause I'm hoping that my computer would run a little quicker. We've got bombers going into 6 squadrons going into they're sending 6 bombers into an island. Let me read that one there. 652 B-52. Amid the simmering Iran tensions, the Pentagon deploys B-52 squadron to Diego Garcia. They are sending 6 B-52 squadrons to Diego Garcia, and it says it's like 2,300 miles south of Iran's southmost point. So it's well within their range of hitting. Of course, they'll have to refuel, but that is where they are. That is what they're doing right now. And of course, we have the Dems still trying to fight the president, but the GOP in the Senate, there's a couple of senators that are going out against what they're doing, and they're asking for they're coming up with a resolution to dismiss the articles of impeachment for failure to prosecute, basically, as anybody has the right to do. Of course, we know that the slain daughter general warns the families and the troops this morning. And according to the general that replaced Soleimani, he says that Trump's blood isn't enough. He wants all American troops out of the Middle East. And for those that missed this morning's show, there was an article. All the articles are on the Wixit site, guys, and I will put it up there for you. But there was an article where actor George Lopez has agreed to accept that $80 million bounty that they put out on the president. And I just think it's just rather ridiculous that, people here can come out and say, oh, we accept that bounty, and them not be sitting in jail. Because that's a terroristic threat, guys. No matter how you want to slice or dice it. You cannot go around telling somebody you're going to kill them and then going to say he's going to accept, that the bounty for half the price. I mean, no. That just does not fly. With me, anyway. But those are the main stories. I think the vital ones are we are sitting some heavy artillery over there. And there is still attacks. Obviously, there's been attacks 2 days straight. I don't know if there's attacks right now. I haven't checked here since I've been on. But there's been 2 days straight attacks on the embassy in the green zone over there in Baghdad. But there it is. I call this OW if it hits. I win a little money. Oh, you get a little money? I'm sorry, Carolyn, but I wanted to tell you so that you guys could be aware. If you go to Walmart, I mean, I never would imagine anybody would do anything so disgusting, but I wanted to make sure you were aware so that you don't just try on a coat or something and, because you never know. Stupid people do stupid things, and hearing that's just frightening. I mean, it really is. My friend's kids still hate getting hair combed since the incident. Oh my goodness sakes. I'm sorry. I know that, you tell your kids not just to pick up the hats and stuff whenever they go into the thing, and try on all these hats because of head lice. But I mean, now it is awful, guys. I'm sorry. But I wanted you guys to be aware so that, if you're buying a jacket or a coat, that you check the pockets before you put it on, because you just never know. And so I'm just trying to keep you informed. I'm sorry, Carolyn. It is rather gross, though. It is. It is indeed. Anyway. I'm sorry. I bet. It is gross, right? It is. And this sad thing is I had managed to go my entire life as a kid and never get head lice. And I guess it was, and my kids weren't even in school, but they played with some kids that they were even school-age kids at the time. They were just toddlers still. But they were playing with the little girls that lived behind us and got head lice. And that was the first time I ever experienced it. That, and when I went to cosmetology school, my first patrons was a family of kids, and they wanted pixie cuts. And of course, you have to examine the hair. And those people had head lice, and oh my God, it just like grossed me out. I went home and washed my clothes in Lysol, and I freaked out really bad because I'd never seen them before that. Gross. Now you got me thinking about just really gross stuff, girlfriend. I know, Brandon. Well, I mean, I don't really buy clothes at Walmart anyway, because I just don't like their clothes. I buy socks and underwear, but I mean, I might rethink that even, because that's pretty gross. Don't puke up your Fritos, sweet Jenna. I'm sorry. The new name they're calling it. China has Ebola breakout. Yeah. Well, I read the story that they thought it was SARS, but I didn't see that it was Ebola. Big D. Let me see real quick before we get off here if there is a article that I can read real quick. I did read an article about China not having SARS, that they said that it wasn't SARS. But China also had the bubonic and pneumonic plague over there as well. So nasty things to come, it sounds like. Uh, yeah, I'm not seeing anything when you first. I know that they confirmed that they didn't have SARS, and the only other article that has anything to do with Ebola and China right now is from September. So I don't have anything. The tea tree oil in your shampoo and conditioner to protect you from headlight. Oh yes, I know this now, honey. I'm talking about when this was many years ago. My first experience ever was as a cosmetologist, and I was cutting hair, and I saw it in somebody's hair. Had I not seen it firsthand, being a cosmetologist, I would have not ever known what to even look for. And then my little girl, my daughter and my son played with the little neighborhood kids and got it, and that was the first time I ever experienced anything that gross. Arachnophobic. Yeah, arachnophobic right there. You're afraid of spiders, Carolyn. I'm sorry. Well, man, I mean, that's just gross, though. But I can't find anything to confirm that Ebola story, guys. But I'll look a little harder. At first glance, you never find it. You always have to dig. You're bald, Kevin. I hear you, and beautiful. I hear you, bald and beautiful. You need a shower. I'm sorry. White vinegar and water. That's cool. I know. I had bought my grandbabies. They have a spray that you buy that repels too. I can't think of what it's called, and that stuff worked as well. But we did go to just putting the tea tree in the shampoo. Fairy tales. I hear you guys. Okay, guys. Well, anyway, that's it for the headlines, and I'm so sorry that I grossed everybody out. I did have a couple of pretty gross stories. The one that grossed me out the most, though, was the cannibal story.
The bacon,
The man eating bacon. Yeah. My husband is just full of jokes today. Being crude as always. Rosemary repels by fairy tales. Oh, that's the name of the spray. Okay, I didn't know. I'm not sure that was the name of it. I know that I tried so many sprays. It wasn't funny. Thank you, Scan. Thank you, guys. Bye, Ladybug. Bye, Scan. Bye, Carolyn, guys. Bye, Brandy, Kevin, Sweet Jenna, OC, Bobby. I did say bye to Brandy. Bye, Cody. Crabs. I eat crabs. That's all we're going to talk about on that one there.
Mr. Krabs.
Kevin. Let's see. Who else is here? I know I saw MG earlier. Bye, John. Bye, Swiss Army. Let's see. That's not the kind of crabs they're talking about. Anyway, bye, Boston Girl, and thank you again so much. I love y'all. Anyway.
A little bit now. You've been up long enough.
All right, guys. Just a second. I am going. I have to do Bible study. I'm supposed to be in Bible right now, but we're going to wait about 15 minutes, and I'm going to eat dinner, and then we will be back in about 15, 20 minutes, guys. I love you guys. Have a blessed night. We'll see you in a few for Bible study. Bye.